to take no for an answer. So he overpowered me, put me to my knees, put his in my mouth.
Oh my God. What is up, world? Welcome back, Charge the Game podcast and Shannon Sharpe. As you guys know, I've been making multiple videos following this lawsuit. And Shannon Sharpe, man, things just got a bit worse for him with this other accuser coming out and doing a live interview with the Sun. And guys, you're going to want to stick around and hear what she had to say about yours truly, Uncle Shay Shay. Not looking good for Mr. Shannon Sharpe. You know, the lady that filed the sexual assault case, for Mr. Shannon raping her. This was before Shannon Sharpe was even on national televised airways. This was before any contract and media was given to him. This was before a $100 million deal, a $50 million deal, anything that CBS, Fox Sports, and ESPN has ever given Shannon Sharpe. This guy has an ugly past, guys. Ugly past. This lady is going to go into the details, the graphics of her story and everything she endured with Shannon Sharpe, guys. So let's just start to get into this, guys, because this one's a bit wild. This is Shannon Sharpe's ex, Michelle Evans, who I've made 1 to 2 videos on already. This is her explaining her side of the story. You see right away they wasted no time in the title. She was indeed scared for her life after his threats for filing restraining order against him, right? And we know that the Sun has done a great job of gathering all of the evidence, all of the court documents. I think that they're in alliance with Tony Busby and TMZ Sports as well, because they seem to get it before anybody else gets it, guys. So let's get into what Miss Michelle Evans actually had to say.
He was controlling, he was domineering, he was manhandling me beforehand.
Controlling and domineering. We've already heard a glimpse of this in the audios. So I just wanted to let you guys know as we, pause and keep playing, it's for YouTube and all of that. But these are things that are going to be brought up in the court, the evidence to explain and provide the proof that Shannon Sharpe just has a temper problem, controlling problem, an abusive problem, and apparently, guys, a graping problem. And this here, guys, is a disclaimer. Shannon Sharpe's ex, Michelle Evans, sued him in 2023, claiming he raped her during their relationship. The suit came to light again last month after Sharpe was sued for $50 million by a second woman who also claims he raped her. Sharpe has denied all the claims in both lawsuits. All right, that's a disclaimer. Let's keep going.
We met in actually the press room at the Broncos, April of 2002. And but we didn't start talking until we met up at a club at Blue 67 in Denver. I don't know if anyone is listening from Denver, but yeah, we were at a club at the same time. We didn't go together. We just happened to both be there. And so he started talking to me, and he started pursuing me pretty heavily from then on. I resisted for a while because, I was a reporter, and I didn't want to mix the two. But he's very charming.
I know a lot of people out there were quick to take Shannon Sharpe's side. But look at this lady. This may rub people the wrong way, but I just feel like a lot of these stories sound very similar, right? Everybody can't be lying, or everybody could be lying. But at the end of this video, hopefully we are going to have a clear line and understanding on exactly, where someone may or may not be at fault in this situation. Again, guys, this is all alleged. But all of this coming out against Shannon Sharpe, guys, is only going to make this situation even worse for him. I think Shannon's done. There's just too much.
Started pursuing me pretty heavily from then on. I resisted for a while because, I was a reporter, and I didn't want to mix the two. We dated until the 2010 incident, and then it came to a breakdown because I wanted. We were arguing, and he was threatening me and stuff like that after, but I didn't see him again after.
Oh my God. Didn't see him again until after he raped me. I mean, the way that they just freely speaking it now, they want this guy to be taken down. And Shannon Sharpe, if allegedly, guys, if Shannon Sharpe is guilty of any of these actions, man, this goes to show you how people could be so hypocritical. I've made the video of Shannon Sharpe calling out Deshaun Watson for his sick fetishes. And it seems like Shannon Sharpe was the kettle calling the pot black.
It led up to that fight, that 2010 fight that you guys, I know that the argument ensued first before he allegedly raped you.
The argument was about the fact that he had removed one girl from his house and put another girl in his house and didn't tell me. And he had asked me to break up with my husband at the time. We were just dating, so I was dating Shannon and my husband at the same time.
Oh, wow.
Shannon asked me to break up with my husband, and I don't recall for sure, but I think I did.
Hold up now. Hold up. That's a big thing. You don't recall you breaking up with your husband, divorcing your husband for Shannon Sharpe? I mean, see, this is where things get a little tricky. But hey, you know, if this is her story, I mean, at least she's being honest. It doesn't paint her in the best light. But geez, man, breaking up with your husband to go get that big black baby or baby gravy is insane.
Usually we fought on the phone and not in person. So it was the biggest argument that we ever got in. And he was controlling, he was domineering, he was manhandling me.
Oh Lord.
And he wanted to have sex, and I told him no. I told him no because you gave it to somebody else. I didn't only tell him no, I told him why. And he wouldn't take no for an answer. So he overpowered me, put me to my knees, put his in my mouth.
Oh my God.
And after he got enough of that, he put me on the bed.
Woo! Shannon Sharpe. This don't sound good, buddy. Put me on my knees and did what? And your what? Like, her visibly getting emotional and frustrating as she replays it in her head as she explains it. Unless she's a great actor, guys, you can just see that this is something that has been hunting her. See, the easy thing to do is to get on here and side with Shannon Sharpe, especially in the black community. Oh, let's stand up, do what we got to do to support the brother. But I like to ride the lines of righteousness, and what's right is right and what's wrong is wrong. If Shannon Sharpe is guilty of this, which is a lot of things that point into the directions of him being guilty of this, then he deserves everything that's going to come to him. Because, I have a daughter, right? I can't imagine my daughter being raped or assaulted by any man. And I know that because of who his personality is and, how he acts on TV, you have to be very, very careful on how you view people based off of the persona that they give off. Because she just told you Shannon Sharpe is charming, and you hear how he talks. He cracks these jokes. Lakers in 5. My grandma taught me this. My granddad taught me this. Well, did they teach you to do all the things that you are being allegedly accused of? Shannon Sharpe? Seriously, I don't side with this. Shannon Sharpe could be completely innocent. I don't know. But there's just too much evidence of these things happening, and the reputation and the thing behind the scenes at Fox Sports where he allegedly choked a young lady and had to quietly settle it. That's insane. Some people just make all this money and they feel like they can do whatever to whoever. And I'm not going to not act like, this lady isn't telling the truth. I'm not going to be oblivious because of someone's popularity. And, like with everything else on social media in today's time, the popular thing to do is to side with the person who has the most money, the most popularity, the most power. And, people will paint a woman like this as a bad guy, or she just trying to get his money, or me too. But at the end of the day, people have feelings. People go through things. People experience traumas. And she may just have summoned up the courage to finally say, I want to go forward with this and press charges. But let's just keep going. Let's see where this leads, guys. Seriously.
This was all a struggle. I had said no. And I said no, even though I was thinking that. And so it was the hardest. Yeah, this is too hard.
Yeah, when a woman does that in an interview, this is too hard. You know, hey, it's already like, this will convince any judge and jury just to be like, guilty.
I remember he got dressed and he knew what he did. And so, you know, I just kind of escorted him out the door. And then I wasn't going to do anything about it. You know, sometimes when you're with the person for a long time, it's hard for you to realize that they're being the perpetrator, even though you know it, you don't want to admit it, and there's so much going through your mind. But then he started coming at me. If I tell anybody, you know, he'll use everybody he knows to destroy me, which he basically has. And then he started making other threats against my life, threats, you know. He just was so worried that it would get out, and I wasn't going to do anything.
Pause right there, guys. She said a few things here. The first thing I'm going to point out is she said that she wasn't going to do anything. Now, I want you guys to cross-examine what happened with the Jane Doe, Gabriella Zaninga, where her team did not even want to let it be known, you know, that there was a video or the text message exchange between those two. But because Shannon Sharpe was panicking and worried about what was going to get out, look, I mean, literally the breadcrumbs lead to the same story here. She literally wasn't going to do anything. They didn't want to release the audio of Shannon Sharpe saying what he said. But once he released those text messages, guys, they released their defensive side of things. So with this lady here, she's like, I really wasn't going to do anything, but he kept harassing me. And then she said he was making threats, doing this, that. What did he say to the 19-year-old chick? Big black guy chokes little white girl in public. Says that I might choke you in public. And she says that I don't want to get choked. And he turns around and says, well, you ain't got a choice. What are you going to do, Shannon Sharpe, when they pull that evidence in comparison to this evidence? You guys see where I'm going here.
When he kept calling me at work, and when he kept, you know, just very aggressively behaving, and I could see it wasn't going to go away, and he said he was going to destroy me, and he was going to kill me, and
oh, wow,
he was watching me, and all that. I just went and got a protective order.
And by her getting that protective order is pretty much the start of a paper trial, some type of documentation to say on this date, this is what happened and why I did what I need to do. See, these people with money, especially Shannon Sharpe, you know, taking all those steroids and testosterone boosters, bro, like, you get so mad and angry, you do things. And I'm not even trying to be funny, guys. Seriously. That testosterone, because Shannon Sharpe is definitely taking steroids. That type of shit, man, like when you're on it, you're not able to control your emotions. If you think of like all of the guys that have like this roid rage, you see like wrestlers. You remember Chris Benoit? Dude literally killed his whole family and then turned around and killed himself. Like that, those aren't just mental issues. Like once you are putting so much of human growth hormones inside of you, you're not going to be able to control your temper or your anger. And then when it's all said and done, you heard what she said. He just walked away because he knew what he had done. And then once your testosterone levels drop down, your common sense comes back. Like, oh shit, did I really mess up? Hey, this better not get out. Hey, you can't call nobody, because that guilt is going to eat you up, especially, Shannon, if your grandmother raised you the right way, right? If you had some type of dignity and respect based off what you said, your spirit is going to eat you up. It won't allow you to continuously live out your days not thinking about what you did to someone else, especially when you've been rewarded with such success, NFL, Hall of Fame, media. I would assume that those demons come to hunt you. And it just seems like everything is resurfacing from your past. All of your skeletons are being revealed.
Unfortunately, shortly after he doxed me and my address got out, and I had somebody stop by my apartment, which had a door that led.
Doxed her just like he doxed the 19-year-old kid by releasing all of her information, naming her, you know, OnlyFans name and everything. So I'm just telling you guys, follow the breadcrumbs. Follow the breadcrumbs.
Basically on the sidewalk. And somebody came up to my door and said, shut up. Screamed it at the top of their lungs. And I had my daughter in there right there. And I was like, Oh, no. And so I went and I dropped it. Somebody came to my house and sat out in the driveway while my daughter was there alone.
Damn, Shannon Sharpe, you Al Capone, Frank Lucas, bro. Shannon Sharpe really moving like this? You really sending people to send messages so much to where she dropped the charges or dropped the protective order because she was in fear of her life? Man, this don't look good.
He came to my house, someone came to my apartment, and after my daughter called me, that's when I went straight there. We may have talked, I think, once or twice. But then he started going on television. He came to my job, Turner Broadcasting, went on TV at CNN, and it was my job to put the videos from up to YouTube for CNN. That was part of my job. Mm-hmm. So I'm putting up this video, and here I see Shannon at my job talking about domestic violence, and the co-host mentioned that, oh, you had one that was just totally dropped, made it look like the police dropped it, not that I had gone down and withdrawn it. It created a picture that wasn't.
This is why Shannon Sharpe has so many enemies with animosity towards him, even like male athletes, because Shannon Sharpe will go out here and berate around like, he was like this civil rights activist. Whenever another athlete, especially a black athlete, I'm just going to be honest, does anything out of the norm, he would just lay into him. I mean, scrutinize them with that big old thick tongue he got, right? Because I've always seen him as being fraudulent and selling his soul to make a living on TV. Now, I get it. That's the name of the game. But I have a huge problem when you're pointing a finger and calling something or someone else out, and you are doing those things. You are just the typical athlete going around assaulting women and having your way because of who you are, your money and your power. You're doing the same thing they did. And it seems like she was offended by him being on national televised programs, literally at her job, talking about domestic violence and scrutinizing other athletes or other people, or laughing it off as if he doesn't have a history. That's just straight up being a hypocrite.
Why didn't you file a police report when he raped you?
Because I was scared for my life. He said he would use it. Everybody he knows, and he knows lots of police officers. So I didn't know that if I went down there, that would be one of the people that he knows. Atlanta has a problem with corruption down there. And I was too scared to go to the police.
She's not lying about the corruption part either. And I know a lot of people probably think that she's, pulling stuff out of her ass, but you have to put yourself in this lady's position. If allegedly this happened, guys, receiving threats and having people show up to your house while your child is there is a causable reason to be afraid. And there are plenty, before you guys jump in the comment section, guys, there are plenty of women who are literally sitting through things they have experienced and have not said a word. On a serious note, you guys may not know what this interview may even do for women who come across this. They may feel like now is the time for them to vocalize their experience or talk about what happened to them, to loved ones, or in private or public, however they want to do it. A lot of people are in situations where they are continuously being sexually assaulted and raped, but they are ignorant and in love, or they are afraid for their lives. I know a lot of men like to claim the Me Too, this and that, but like if you have a daughter, if you have a mom, if you have an aunt, right? If you have a best friend and his little sister, if anything like that happened to somebody close to you, I feel like anyone should be able to resonate. You don't have to believe, but you can resonate.
When this happens, you're in a trauma mindset. You're not in a, every day you and I are talking here like, oh, okay, well maybe I should do that. No, you're like feared for your life. You're traumatized. You're not thinking straight. You're having anxiety and panic attacks. And I was worried that he would, get a hold of this police officer, and who knows what would happen. And so it was just a decision, and it's a decision a lot of rape victims make.
Whew, man. And I just told you guys that, like, a lot of people don't go to the police, right? A lot of people, especially in certain cultures, are taught to not even talk to the police. And then, you got a guy, obviously, an athlete with money, power, who knew the police or police, whatever the case may or may not be. But there is a lot working against Shannon Sharpe right now. I expect, that a lot of these media outlets are going to continue to not only talk about this video, but there's going to be more and more evidence. Because if Shannon Sharpe was moving like that, I'm quite sure more women are want to come forward and talk about their experiences with old Shay Shay. You guys let me know what y'all think about this as the Shannon Sharpe story continues to unfold. We'll be here covering it. Thank you guys for watching, and make sure if you guys are new here or returning that you guys subscribe, hit the subscribe button. It helps me go a long way. You guys let me know your thoughts and your comments. Please hit the like, share, and notification bell for more future content, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.